afternoon, everyone. I am Mayank Rijhwani, standing right in front of you to present how Kyvos can fuel your analysis through Gen AI mechanism and how we at Kyvos are helping to usher in a new fueled analytics era. So let me first start by introducing Kyvos. Kyvos is an analytic product that includes a universal semantic as well as a query acceleration layer. We offer secure and standardized consumption on any data set. We guide and enrich analysis through our semantic metadata. We have a patented storage format with which you can reduce your storage cost by up to 94%, and it also helps us to upscale by using a fraction of system of resources, which in turn provides us 100 times faster query response on billions and trillions of rows. Coming to what Kyvos has to offer with the analytical tools. So we have got a couple of analytical tools which can be helped to fuel your analysis by using Gen AI. First one is the intelligent conversational analytics, which guides every user to drive insights. Second is predictive analysis, which can help you drive or come to an outcome to get to a business decisions. Third is business intelligence, which can help you generate reports, state-of-the-art dashboards. And final is the technical and the non-technical data discovery piece. For my today's session, I am going to focus on the first segment, that is the conversational analytics driven through Gen AI. What actually is the conversational analytics and why it is becoming the new wave? So as analytical professionals, we definitely love to query the dashboards as well as generate trendy reports. Now, the problem which we face day in and day out is either they are very slow to generate or the context is somewhere gets missed during the analysis. So we have to vastly limit the scale of the data set to meet our performance SLAs. To meet the performance, we have enabled the query acceleration layer married with Gen AI to get output within sub-seconds for queries on trillions and billions of rows. Now at the same time, it is very fully functional and fun to use because it increases the operational use or the consumption of your data set. And it also suffices your analytical use case needs. So just imagine you don't have to wait for an entire batch process or a machine learning program algorithm to finish for hours. Rather than it is an interaction which you are doing with the system or chatting with the system and getting your responses within sub-seconds. Now, once you have received your response, and if you have to use a previous chat or a previous conversation which you have done with the system, that can also be reused and it is forkable. That implies that whenever an analysis is being done on your data set, it stores the conversation in form of chat. Chat sessions help you determine what was the context and how we have been using that particular context and whether there are any additional insights that can be driven from the context, which you will see in my demo part. How we are solving this problem with Kyvos, how we are enabling real-time query responses within sub-seconds or within fraction of seconds. So here we have developed our own chatbot which goes by the name Kyvos Copilot. It is very simple to be used, right? It takes care of your context as well as it automatically generates the visualization depending upon how you are querying the semantic model or how you are querying your cube. And then finally, when you store your analysis, it can be further used by your authorized users or a group of users within your team to further drive additional analysis. Now with this, I would like to jump on a quick demo for Kyvos Copilot. So here we are right into a web-based Kyvos Copilot interface and connected to a semantic model. So we don't start with a blank slate. We already have certain prompts which the user can use to start driving the insights from the semantic metadata. However, since we are in the Data Strategy Summit 2024, with the microphone icon which I see on the chat window, I would be using that to query my semantic model. Show total sales. Here is what it has given me the output in form of a KPI. Just through reading my speech, it has queried the metadata and giving me the output in form of a KPI on which I have the data summary option also available. That's where we are marrying the Gen AI piece through structured content and generating this statement through LLM. I will move on to my next query. Show monthly breakup across years. That's where it has given me a line chart showing me sales for year 2022 and 2023. Now, the key thing to note here is, within my chat or within my question to my Kyvos Copilot, I haven't provided any context that give me breakup of sales, profit, order count, or anything. It has taken the context from my previous chat and inherited on my new chat. Now, I would like to execute another query. Show top 10 countries breakup for year 2023. Show top 10 countries breakup for year 2023. So that's where it has given me a cross tab where it has listed the year as well as the month and the country-wise sales. And the same analysis goes that within year 2023, we could see that United States has the highest number of sales, and within the order months, how it is increasing with the LLM description which it has shown to me down below. Now, the key thing to note here is, I don't have to restrict to this particular chat. I can go back to my previous chat also and reuse that particular chat to derive new additional insight. Show breakup by ship modes. Here, as you can see, that how I was using my previous chat to get a new outcome from the particular crosstab report which I generated earlier. Now, this entire chat history can be very well saved into the UI and can be reused. And that is the main concept which we have focused on while developing this particular tool. So with this, I would like to conclude my session and hand it over to one of the experts which we have from our industry and has been using our product and getting benefits out of it. Yeah, and just before I leave the stage, our booth is just right outside the conference room. In case if you have any technical questions or would like to discuss anything related to your use case, kindly feel free to stop by our booth and then we can have that particular discussion.
Thank you, Mayank.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. I had 12 minutes. Now I think I have 8.5. So if I'm running and compressing, please feel free to reach out to me after this session and I'll happily talk to you. I'm going to take a couple of minutes to quickly talk about the company, myself, and then we'll get into what I'm here for today. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer and Head of Analytics for Aavas. I've been with them for 2.5 years. Personally, I have about 25 years of experience in 4 different countries. I've been on the prime segment mostly. Started my career with Stanchart for 6 years and 16 years with Citi. The only reason I give you that background is having come to Aavas, I had to unlearn a lot of things. I'm going to talk about the market, the company, what we do. We're a housing finance company in the tier 2, 3, 4. We have built a niche for ourselves in the self-employed, underserved, unserved market. We're at about 17,000 crores today, and our plan is to grow by a large amount. Just to give you a perspective of the market today, about 30 trillion rupees is roughly your housing loan segment, out of which about 30% is held by the HFCs. But the rural market is 8%, right? And out of that, if you actually look at the estimates today, about 100 million units are going to become, housing units are going to become required in the economically weaker segment and the lower income group in the next 5 years. And just to give you one more number point, just in Uttar Pradesh alone, there are around 80 million self-employed who are considered as underserved and unserved. That's the kind of opportunity that exists. Now, the reason that I'm mentioning this here in a data strategy conference is that the kind of data that we can get on this segment today has grown exponentially over the last few years, and it will continue to grow. So suddenly the opportunity is not just theoretical, but it's real and within your reach, right? And the second point is, as a company, the way that we work is we have a lot of touch and feel with the customer. So when you work with, let's say, a grocery store owner in a tier 3 city, you can't say, give me your GST returns or send me your PDF bank check. That's not going to work. We're going to have to go to that person, sit with them. Sometimes they say, what's your revenue? And they ask us, what's revenue? And then our credit manager sits with them and says, oh, when you get all the money, you put it, and that's your revenue, your expense, then you do your, so we actually work with them to do that, right? So that's, now the question is always, for me over the last 2 years has been, how do I keep that? How do I keep that connect? How do I keep that understanding? And how do you grow that number, right? So three quick points. I'm not going to get into this. This is common for any business anywhere in my experience. When you want to grow, you need to make sure that your growth is always driven without compromising your key metrics that your organization tracks. Very important. Second, focus on your, how do you have focus on your target segment? Is to be able to understand what you're doing, what your outcomes are in greater detail that you did before. And today, if we need to stand out compared to competition, the customer experience, how do you deliver, how fast you deliver is key in today's world, right? No, this is not the right one. Okay. All right, no problem, that's fine. So when it comes to data strategy, I wanted to show something on the data strategy part which I'll talk about. We have covered different aspects. We've covered the data mesh, we've covered privacy, we've covered all of that stuff. But what I'm going to talk to you about is, what does data strategy mean to a business? I've been in business roles all my life, right? Starting from finance to collections to credit to policy to sales, marketing, deposits, mortgages, right? All over the business. So what does it mean, right? To me, data strategy means, how do you take data, effectively convert that into information by abstraction that the business understands? How do you take that information and extract insights from those? Give that insights to business, and not just give them that insight, and give them actionable insights. Guide the behavior to take the right actions, and make that action implemented in the same place. So they should not leave that place, right? So for example, something that I'm working on right now is, it's a very simple problem. Let's say I'm a sales head and I have 5,000 people. If I have a dashboard on my mobile phone that shows me how many people have punched in at 10 in the morning, and let's say one state is less, I should be able to press a button and my dashboard sends a message to the state head and tells him, look, your attendance seems low this morning, please call me back. So not only has the sales head seen the information, understood the information, found a problem, but started the action right from that. That's what I mean by actionable insight. And today with technology is possible. The second kind of actionable insight is, we don't have to wait for data to come to us, run a batch run, and then take decisions. Today when the salesperson is sitting at the customer, even if they're in a tier 3 city, I'm able to give them insight as soon as they enter the name and details of a customer. They get back information, feedback saying, yes, good, bad, go ahead, do this, don't do this, focus on this, etc. So that's, what I mean by actionable insights. Now, if you look at there are three things when it comes to data strategy for me which are priority. Number one is that we need to be ahead of the data and the decision-making game. Usually in the past, we were behind it. We were waiting for data and then make a decision. But today, you have tools which will give you the data up front, so you're not waiting for data, look at the Excel file and say, oh, something's wrong, I'm going to do it. No, you're going to look at the data and say, oh, this could be a problem in 3 months, and you start working on it now. So that's you're ahead of the problem. And second is the actionable insights I just spoke about. These are two key things, I think, in the data strategy world that now have become possible for us to think about when it comes to data, how do we use it, what do we do, right? Now, obviously, AI and stuff has been covered there. I'm not going to cover it. The last point I want to say, the third point, is that how we are able to take this insight and orchestrate it. The API calls today, for example. We don't have to wait for a batch run, real time. I gave you an example of that. So those are those three things. That was the slide that's missing here, but pretty much I've covered that. Again, from a data challenge point of view, there used to be three pillars: data, people, process, and technology. In my view, the fourth pillar today is data and information. I use data in a very loose manner, right? Because there's a whole bunch of levels of data, like I said, data to information to insights to analytics. So there's a whole bunch. This covers all of that, right? Again, the most common challenges are how do businesses talk in a unified manner. Even for me 2 years ago, my biggest problem was people get into a meeting room and say, this number is not matching with my data, your data. My reply was, this can't be my data or your, there's only one data. It belongs to the company, and it's not like I bring it from my house, right? It's just one data. So how do I get people in one place, talk about the, and that usually happens because people have different KPI definitions. There is no unified semantic layer. That's mostly what causes that. How do we do multidimensional aggregation and details from the same data source? For example, if I want to see my sales or logins for the month, for the week, for the day, and open up that day and see the loan numbers there and say, these are the 4 loans that my branch booked, right? So how do I get down to that level from the same data source? And be able to add custom calculations on the fly. Let's say yesterday someone called me and said, let's look at, let's look at self-employed and let's see what was it year-to-date last year and year-to-date this year. Okay, I have my time's up, so I'm just going to take a minute. Apologize for that. So last point I want to say is today what you saw on Kyvos is obviously the Gen AI layer, but what we've been able to do is solve some of the problems that you saw on this page here. We have been able to take data which is a single data source, apply the business definitions on a particular semantic layer within Kyvos, and then there are these OLAP queues that are pre-built. The best thing about that for me is that the build happens separately and the data gets stored on S3, which means at the time when the business user is pulling the data and dragging and dropping it, there is no computation being done. It's all pre-computed for me. So I am assured of a response time. I am assured of a cost for my infrastructure that I'm using. And I am also assured of the quality and the definition of that data. Today, that is where I've been able to do that standardization for different aspects of the business. And the best part is this is end-user agnostic. You can use it in Excel, you can use it on the web, you can use it on Tableau. So depending on the person's ability, skill level, etc., we are able to also tell the user, you can use it in the way you want. Again, that's pretty much it I wanted to cover today on the what it means to us on the data strategy side and how Kyvos is helping us. If there's anything else, I'm always here during lunch, and we can definitely catch up. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy lunch.